So we have a copy, and there will probably be some people that join us as we go along, no worries. And then people will watch it after the fact. So, but this is a working call. I am so excited to have you here. I normally do this on another platform that we can't talk. And so last time Stacy was like, we need to be able, and especially after our meetup this month, where we're able to talk and connect with each other. Sorry, Stacy just texted me. But that was so fun. I love being able to connect with you guys, and at the same time, have you guys have the chance to ask questions and get any information you need. So this is a call we do every single month. Anyone can join. So if you have other people in your group that that need help, by all means, they can come to this call and join us. They can also join our Facebook community. That's also free. And we are literally going to walk you through, and if Stacy can come on, great, but we'll walk you through the process that we go through every single month to plan out the month. So you can hopefully do that in the next hour and have a good structure and base. So then you can have a good plan for March. That's our whole goal. So I'm going to share my screen, and at any time you guys have questions, feel free to ask. If you want to put anything in the chat, you're welcome to as well. And there will be times when I actually will stop talking and we do some work. Hi, Kimberly. I know Kimberly has been part of these, so she knows how that works as well. Let me share my screen. Okay. So we're planning out our March. Who's excited for March? Yay. I'm excited because I'm ready for warm weather. It has been really, I know I'm complaining, but it's been really cold for us in Charleston. And I think it's supposed to be 80 tomorrow. So I cannot, even that's a little extreme. I'm just really glad to have warm weather and sunshine and all those wonderful things. And I think that's the great thing about March is you have so much of that you can promote, which is awesome to do. So we're going to share with you some of the things that we recommend and some things to consider promoting as well. And we will give you guys this presentation because it does have links in it afterwards. And there also is a free guide we do every month. Hey, Erica, a free guide we do every month that you can download that has a lot more information. If you got it last month or anytime before, it's similar in the content, but it will be different because it will have March's information. So you can always get that free guide, but a lot of this stuff will be in here as well. And yeah, any questions with that so far? I know it's pretty easy. Okay, so the first thing, and some of this is something I share every single month, so you could zone out if you know that you know this part. But the first thing you need to do is get organized, and I am such a big believer in organization because once you do the process we're going to do tonight, and you can come on here every single month with us and do it, you will get so free of stress. And that question of what am I going to promote today will no longer be a thing because you're going to promote it. And the three things you need is a planning calendar, which you will get one as a Create member. You get one of these in your collection, and those should be ready by tomorrow. All the collections I think will be live by tomorrow, which is great. Hi, Angel. So that's the first thing. So you can get your planning calendar. You can also go to Google and search for a March calendar. This is obviously says February because I haven't done the March one. Hi, Hannah. And download that and you can be prepared. So don't look at these as dates. March starts on the 1st and it goes to the 31st. But you want a calendar that you can use to plan everything. And so for tonight's purposes, you might want to go ahead and download one, or really a scratch piece of paper is fine too. The second thing I recommend having is a notebook or a database to use to store everything. I personally love a database, and there is a link in this presentation when you get it to the database I use. And basically it has different tabs, as you can see. One is just an overview of my social media. So I list out there all the social media accounts I have, how many followers, what my focus is, when I post on there. Then I have a column for each of my accounts by the month. So I go on here every single week and I write down exactly what I'm going to be sharing. And then once I share it, I put it in highlights. So you see the greens means I've already shared it. A lot of times I will share the same thing across all my platforms. I might, of course, change the size of it or the wording of it or whatever, depending on the audience. And I will go into that a little bit later on in the presentation. But this is really good to have. So once you have this month kind of drafted out, then you can take it over to the spreadsheet and put it in for your entire month, and go ahead and, you can even have it coded where you've already designed it, you've already written the captions, whatever you need to do. I also have a tab in here for ideas, and that also is great throughout the month. So if I see something that somebody else posts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Lori, I love this thing Lori posted. I'm going to bookmark it and do the same thing next month in my own colors or whatever. I will put it in there. Or if there's something I know coming up, like my birthday or something I want to share on my social media platforms that's special to me, I'll put in there. I also have a tab in here for newsletter, which is a whole nother training that I have done, but that's also good because you can funnel everything that you're going to promote if you do a newsletter in there. And I recommend anything you're sharing on social media for that week, put into a newsletter. It's that easy. All the content that you get as a Create member specifically, you can literally put into a newsletter, and that could be your newsletter. And there is a training, like I said, I've done on that. And then the other option down here is a Etsy download Excel that's a lot more advanced. It was $10. I actually got it. I didn't use it because I already had this one, and we have the one, obviously the Create members have too. But if you want to try it out, it's a really good way to organize your entire year. And then the next thing I recommend is a scheduler, which is what we talked about in our member meetup. This is where you go and you actually, once you have it planned out, you can go schedule it on something. Canva Pro has a scheduler. This is what it looks like, where you can go in and actually upload all your designs into your captions, everything, and schedule out your month. Meta has a suite you can use for Facebook and Instagram. I use one called Loomly, which I do link in here. It's a little bit more expensive, but it covers all the social media. And there's several others that I talked about, and it's in the free in our membership collection and the Creativity collection. It's in there if you want to look through that. So this is it. You want to get organized. We're not going to really go through this in great detail. Does anybody have any questions on organization or have a tip they've used that works really well? And I'm telling you, a notebook is also fine for all of this. So if that's your mode of operation, by all means, keep using it. Use what works for you. But the big thing is to get organized. Okay, so the next thing is you want to figure out what you're going to share. And I put a little bit more in here this month on content pillars, thanks to your feedback, because normally I go through content pillars kind of fast. We're going to do a little bit of a dump in a minute about this, but this is really the things that you want to promote that are what you are all about. So they are the core things that represent you and your brand. And we'll have a lot of examples in the next slide, but it's just things that feel good. Like when you share these things, like if you have a dog and you love your dog, that's part of your core. That's part of who you want to promote. It might not go along with your brand, but everyone loves dogs. So promote your dogs. And they want to see you as a person. At the end of the day, the most important thing to promote on social media is you, and that you're a person and that you are relatable. So you do want to share those things. Then you want to align with your niche and your interests and what your audience really wants to hear from you and how you can help them, because it cannot just be all about you. You want to be providing value, and you'll hear a lot of times before you post anything, you need to ask yourself, does it educate somebody? Does it entertain somebody? Or does it what's the third? Inspire somebody. So those three things. So if it doesn't do one of those things, then you probably don't need to be sharing it on your social media. It might be fine for your stories, but not your post. Okay, so here is a little bit more about pillars, and we're going to take 5 minutes in a minute and do a little dumping of pillars. Show of hands, who has pillars already set for their business that you promote? Okay, good. Yeah, I can believe it. Hannah, you do. I saw your mom stuff today, so that's a good one. So, and I know Erica, you do too. So this is basically what your pillars are. It's just you, at the end of the day, you want to be the go-to person for these things. Like when somebody's thinking about recipes, if you're a really good cook or you're really into healthy cooking and healthy living, which I know several of you are, then that should be a really big part of your brand and your pillars, and people should be coming to you for those things because you're that go-to person sharing it. The key is being consistent about it. So these are overview, like bigger picture items. You can get really, really specific For example, if you're a soccer mom, if you're a tap dancer, if you like to cross stitch, if you, I mean, on and on and on. So think about the things that you are really in love with and passionate about, and that tie into your brand and whatever businesses you're promoting. So I tell people to try to pick 3 to 5 of these and then assign a day to them. And this is not something you have to have set in stone. So you don't have to say, well, Monday, every day, Monday is going to be my cooking. Well, what happens if Monday's a holiday and you want to promote that holiday and you don't want to cook on Monday because you're tired? That's totally fine. Don't stress out about it, but it'll give you a guide for what you're going to promote in a month so you can use it, and if it works out, great. If not, and hopefully you're going to have all this done for you at the end of this hour, so you've got it mapped out. So why not share it anyway, because you're going to have the information already together. So we're going to take 5 minutes now. You're going to come up with your 3 to 5 pillars if you don't have them already, or you could have 7 if you want one for every day of the week. That's totally fine. I wouldn't really have two, and you don't have to assign them to a day of the week if you don't want, but I have found if you assign something, it just keeps you better organized. I have some that are loosely made where I'll promote them when I want to, but I do promote them sometime during the week. And so you pick your pillars, you're going to pick your days, and then we're going to come back together and go to step 2. Does that make sense? All right, I'm going to turn, now we're on Zoom. I'm going to turn on some music. We're going to do a little bit of work for 5 minutes. We're going to regroup at 7:17. Okay? Awesome.
Take me down, lead me through. When close the our sheet of summer road, cool cringe fall. Rather be ruled by you, you love it all. Well, my chest talking, jaywalking, Levi Jean Queen. I've been everywhere, I swear. You're the finest I've seen. Break me down, lead me blue. Painted kindness on the planet that two bears do. In the dark midnight or the light of day, I long to be tomorrow as I did today. Well, my daydream, people clinging around dark days, girl. I fell hard and I looked wild. You're the rarest in the world. In my dreams, it seems I'm not chasing. Take me, beat me, take me down, drag me. Always good. So, always good. we can leave. And every moment when we say hallelujah, be gone tomorrow. Always raining like a child. I don't know where we were. Only thing that is my vision that is there. It's been rising up. I believe in love. With some boys I used to know. We're trying to get our pockets up.
Awesome, Cheryl. Yes, all of those are really good. And you will, some people like to, I love that. Oh, yes. If you do like rescue dogs, that's perfect. And a lot of times people will do that where they'll, make it clever with the actual name, the week itself, the day of the week itself, and promote that as here's my Monday motivational, whatever. You can absolutely do that. I think that's wonderful. So good job. Like Tip Tuesday is one I see a lot. Wellness Wednesday, um, Thirsty Thursday. I mean, you can have a lot of, you can have fun like that. Or again, you can be, I do think the weekends should absolutely be more fluid and fun just because people are not, they don't want to be taught, they want to have fun, they're with their kids. So if you do post anything, it should be more of that, lightheartedness than anything else. Does anybody have any, thanks for sharing, Cheryl. And by the way, I did not mention this, one of you guys on this call is going to receive a free, now some of you might have already gotten this from me before, so if so, we'll do something else, but a free social media audit where I will look at all your social media and give you a report of all the things you're doing great and things you could be doing differently. So one of you is going to be the lucky winner of that. And I have some other fun little things too. So love these. Keep on putting these in here. Love, Kimberly. Great, 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 great. All right, so y'all get the gist. You have your pillars, and now you're ready to move on to March. So there's always so many fun things happening in March. You do want to screenshot this because you're going to want to use it in one of our planning. So let me move the toolbar. I don't know if that's in the way or not for you guys, but it was for me. Okay, so this is the month. I mean, there is a holiday every single day of the week, typically, and also a lot of fun things that you wouldn't think of. If you are a member of the Creativity Collective, we do cover a lot of these in our membership, but there are several that we don't. So if there's ones that you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to do it. Like, for example, I did not know it was National Fanny Pack Day until today, and I'm a huge fanny pack person, but this is the best of all, y'all. It's also Barbie Day, and I love Barbie, and I have a Ken fanny pack I got after the movie. It's one of those I should have brought it, leather ones. It says the Ken, and it's got chains. I'm gonna have to get it during one of our breaks because it is so cool. So I am for sure promoting that on March 9th. Like I'm gonna be all over that. So that's the thing. If there are things on this calendar that you really resonate with, that you've dealt with, or you've had some sort of connection with, by means you want to promote that. So that is something. And also if it comes on a day like the Smart and Sexy Day, guys, we could all go be smart and sexy. But if it comes on a day of the week where you're not, there's a weed appreciation by the cross, that's kind of funny. But if you're like, I don't want to promote that on Friday, I've already got something going on Friday, you can always promote it the week, a couple days before and say, on Friday is so-and-so day. And to get you excited, I'm going to share my recipes today because you need to go to the store and buy the stuff. So on Friday you can cook it or whatever it might be. So this is dates. Everybody have a screenshot? You're going to want that. Okay. And then this is other fun stuff. So birthdays, there's tons of celebrities always with birthdays. So if you are really into John Bon Jovi, you can look up when his birthday is and you can celebrate him, or Andrew Jackson. I mean, you never know. And then there's a ton. So again, another screenshot, there's a ton of interesting things in here that if something again resonates with you or your followers and falls into your pillars, you will want to share. It is daylight savings. That's a really, really big one. Everyone should always promote because people often forget about it. It's also the Oscars the same night, same day. So that's always fun. And spring, we're getting ready to, Easter's around the corner. It's not this month, but it's around the corner. So there's a lot of cool stuff just to gear up and get ready for spring. These are always good to promote on the first of the month, like right when the month gets going, as like a teaser. And if you use Chat GPT, it can come up with a bunch of cool stuff like this for you to use. You also get it as a create member. So everybody got a screenshot of this? Okay, cool. All right. Now we're going to do another 5-minute brain dump, and I'm going to go get my Ken fanny pack. So now that you've got your pillars and you've got those 2 screenshots, I want you to spend the next 5 minutes going and writing down the things in these buckets. One is what holidays you want to feature. Like I'm totally featuring Barbie and Ken fanny pack. 2 is your pillars. What are you going to feature there? And so this is where it's good if you have a notebook and I put it on the bottom, keep your notebook during the month or your Excel during the month and fill in topics. Because if I see something, an article about, and this is how I do create, if I see something in one of my websites I visit about some trend, I always put it in here because that's something I always like to cover. So, put things down in here that's going to be pillar related. So if you have certain type of recipes you want to share or whatever, then you can go on Google Trends and search anything that is seasonal or trending. That's a good spot to go to. We do provide a lot of this in the Creativity Collective too for members. I'm just saying for the members here. So we'll have a lot of good trending information especially if you're an all-in member. And then another quick thing you can do, I know it's only 5 minutes and you might not have time to do this, but look back at what did well on your page this past month, what got the most likes, most comments, most viewed, whatever, and you want to keep doing that. So if there's something that worked really, really well, try to do another version of that or even repurpose that because people might not have seen it. So everybody understand this assignment? So in 5 minutes, we'll get together at 7:28, come back together and go to the next part, which is really the fun part because we're going to start planning it. Anybody have any questions on this? Okay, I'm going to stop talking, let you guys go to work. I have like one more minute. Okay, you guys got a good kind of draft of things you want to promote? Feeling pretty good? This is a really good exercise to do and oops. And again, keep the notebook, keep it because if you do come on here every month, like several people do, then you're gonna have so much more together for the next call. So it's a good thing to do. Okay. So now we are going to talk real quickly about social media platforms, and then we're going to get into the actual planning. And so a lot of, I mean, most everyone probably here is doing Instagram, but there are, obviously a lot of platforms to promote your brands on. And I think it's really important to take some time and always think about what you're promoting and how you're doing it and making sure you're doing it the right way. So when you think about Instagram, anything you share, you want to keep it more light and more entertaining. Not that you cannot educate people, you absolutely can, but people want it kind of fast, they want it more creative, they want it more spunky. And so there's just a kind of different approach to go about it. Facebook is great for building your communities and also connecting and asking questions. That's where you can get a lot of engagement just asking questions about things. And people love to give their opinions and love to share. So engagement posts are really good on Facebook. Um, then LinkedIn is great for reaching. I've been doing a lot more with LinkedIn this year, and I've really loved it. More so with the one-on-one conversations I have behind the scenes, which is great, but also just trying to share. So that's just a good platform if you're not doing anything with LinkedIn to start doing, especially if you have something where you can educate and help people with whatever you're sharing. But you just want to do it knowing the people there are professional and they want more educational base. They don't want a lot of the fluff. Now, a good motivational quote is great, and there's some other things you can do there, absolutely. But you just want to think about it a little differently and how you present it there. Threads is, obviously a newer platform, and I still haven't, I go on there every so often, but what I resonate with is more quotes and more uplifting things and more just like fast. You do not want to provide a lot of information and read a bunch of stuff. It's just not made that way. Um, TikTok is a big one that I encourage all of you to start playing with, just because more and more people are doing it. It's not just for kids any longer. And because there are not a lot of adults necessarily doing it as much, there's so much opportunity. So if you are doing reels or any type of videos, definitely put them on TikTok. And you want to get rid of the reel if you have a reel that has a little symbol on it, Instagram symbol, because they don't like that. TikTok and none of these people like to see their other brands on here. But it is fun to do something, especially if you're already doing videos. Pinterest is another one that it really is a search engine. So a lot of people don't think about Pinterest. They're like, oh, no one's going to go on there. Now, people do go on there for more entertaining search. It's a search engine. So they're searching for information, but it is something that pops up in a Google search if you're searching certain things. So it's one, and actually they've spent more money in Pinterest to be part of the search engine platform. And LinkedIn, by the way, besides Google and YouTube, which are the number one and two search engines, LinkedIn is definitely up there, very, very top. So when people are searching for you, they're going to get LinkedIn as long as you have an account. But it's kind of scary if you've not done anything in LinkedIn in a while. So clean up your LinkedIn page and start doing stuff, because it's one of the first things people find. But Pinterest, another good one just to start doing. You're already going to have the content. You have to change. They only let you have one box. And so you have to keep it like, where it's catchy enough where they come and click onto your website or wherever they're going to go. X, I don't even, X is just a whole thing. Twitter, it's just whatever. I think it's just more news, breaking news. I don't spend any time on it right now, to be honest with you. Um, Google, now we spend all of our time up here when we really need to spend all of our time down here. at the end of the day. So if you only have a limited amount of time, you should absolutely take these things and be putting a lot of your effort into it, or some of your effort into it. And it's not hard or overwhelming, because you're basically taking the same content you're sharing on the above platforms and you're putting it on the bottom. So Google, you can set up a free Google business page. If you don't have one, set one up tomorrow. It takes 2 seconds to do, and then you're start getting into the Google search. It takes a lot of effort. I mean, it takes a lot to get searched. More than that to get searched on Google, but it's part of the whole thing that works. So get yourself a Google page, and they allow you to do posts just like you would any of the other platforms. You can put your same post down there, along with other things that connects your social media accounts, all the things. Websites and blogs. If you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot even imagine having a website, there are easy to make and free templates on a lot of the things like Canva. You can make one on Canva that already have templates for you to use, and then you can just buy a domain for $12. And basically, you can just have a page. And I did do a training on this, a page just with some general contact about your business, but have a blog, and your blog can just be your social media content, a little bit more expanded using ChatGPT. So again, it's super easy. You're going to have all this content done. You just plug and play into these different places you've got set up. YouTube, again, if you're doing videos, go ahead and put them on YouTube. YouTube has shorts and long. Again, people do go on there more for educational content, but they're doing a lot more with shorts now, which is just a under a minute video. And even if you're like, no one's ever going to find me on YouTube, they might not. But again, Google owns YouTube. It's the number 1, 2 search engines. A newsletter, I talked about that earlier, is a big one that I think everyone should try to do at least once a month, just to connect. It's you own it. You're connecting with your audience, and you can just take all the content you're already having in social media, plug it into your newsletter, and hit send. I mean, there's a little bit more to it, but that's basically the biggest thing you need to do. And then text. I think you got to be careful with texting people, but it is definitely an option that's out there to communicate with people. And you can use the same content and say, hey, did you see my latest recipe? Click on here for the link, and it connects you to one of these platforms. So that's a quick overview of social media. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
Angel, what was the thing for conversations with the A? What's that? I missed it. Next to
Thread.
Oh, Thread. Okay, thank you.
Yes. And I wish that Instagram and Facebook, because it's owned by them, would connect them all. And I know they are sort of, but like you can't just, it's not set up on my scheduling platform. So I literally have to go in there, and I don't always think about it. And then when I go on there, it's like, I want to connect with like-minded, it's like it's not just there yet. It's got a little ways to go if it's going to even be a blip, but it is something. And it is so new that if you get in there and you do it right, you can start connecting with people on there. It's just a little bit harder because it's a flow. Okay. All right. So now we're going to have fun. We are going to spend the next 10 minutes. Now I know it says February. I apologize for that. So March starts on Friday and it goes till the 31st. Just get your own calendar if you don't have one. And we're going to take all the things you have that you just came up with. So you've got your pillars, you've got your outline of what you want to do, and you're going to start assigning topics to days. Now, I do apologize for Create members. I always love having our monthly calendar done by these classes, and it is done, but we're putting it into Canva so we don't have it pretty. So just know that we have the same format every month. We have quotes, we have tips, we have trends, we have recipes. So know you're going to still get all that same content. You just don't know, obviously, the themes necessarily. So you can just put a placeholder for create content in this day, knowing that you're going to have access to X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense? My Create members? Okay, cool. So the only other thing I wanted to mention before we do that is if you love super organization, there are things like Notion, and I use Asana, where you can plug all this into those platforms and make it look really pretty and get organized. And then if you have other people you work with, like Stacey and I use it, where we'll put all the ideas we have in there, and then share resources, and then she can approve something. So if you have a team, it's really great. or if you work with clients or that sort of thing, this is a great resource to use. So, okay, so the next 10 minutes, we're going to plan on our month. Everybody know what they're doing. They feel good. I am going to go back to the March calendar, just have it on the screen in case you don't want to look at your screenshot of it. And if you have any questions or whatever, but we'll get back together at around 7:47, if that works. Cool? Awesome. All right. Can't wait to see you guys going at it. Oh, also real quick, got my fanny pack. How cute is this? Okay, one more minute. Okay, so hopefully you've got some good start to your plan. And this is what mine always looks like after the calls, where I just mark it. And like I said, once you start doing this, and if you come on here every month, honestly, even if you hear like the same thing, you're going to get ideas, but you can sit here and plan your month. And that's what's really important to do, is that we don't take the time to do that. Then all of a sudden your month comes, you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to promote? All those things. So this gives you a good outline that you can then take and use. And I don't know if you saw, but if I'm ever struggling with content, ChatGPT is amazing. You can literally put in there everything you want and it will spit out a million different things for you to consider. Not that you want to do them all, but it just gives you something to start marinating on, right? And go, oh yeah, my audience would love to hear about, spring allergies or something like that. That's one of the ones that we're going to talk about. And then I make it like, more professional and I have it together. And then now the part is pulling the content together. So any questions on that or anything anyone wants to share or, add? We're good. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, let's talk about the final piece. So hopefully you've got a good base of everything together. You've got it organized. Now you're like, okay, what am I going to post? And that is definitely a struggle sometimes. But with your base, you know what you have in mind. And there are 3 places that I find the best way to use. One of which a lot of you are members of, so I know you get your content, but Canva is amazing for a lot of this. You can search anything in Canva anytime, and it will pull up a bunch of different options to consider. And then you can find something you like and edit it and make it yours. So that's absolutely an option. One thing for Canva for me that just something to consider is Canva posts start to look a lot alike. They have a very similar, they're using similar fonts and all the things. So that's just, you kind of want to make it a little bit more original if you can, but that's an option, absolutely, especially if you have Pro. Another place you can find content is places like Etsy, where they sell downloads. The only thing I would say for cautionary tale, so before I started the Creativity Collective, I went on Pinterest and Etsy to find stuff. This is really before Canva was really a big thing. And I wanted more creative options than Canva. And I would buy these templates for like $5 and they were awful. They were so awful. I was like, oh my gosh, I could have done this. So there's a lot of false advertising. So if you are going to buy anything like that, where you're getting a dump of designs, just ask to see examples or read reviews, because the reviews will tell you if somebody's happy. Now, typically it's like $5, so you're not really spending that much money, but $5 adds up, right? And then you have the Creativity Collective, which I think a lot of you guys are members of, where you can get your monthly content all month long. So, and I'm really excited about, I don't know what I just did. I hit something wrong, but I don't want, that's not, I guess showed me the membership page. Back here, bear with me for a second, but I'm really excited and hopefully you've seen it. We are launching a collection for health and wellness coaches and businesses. And I know a lot of you guys fit that mold. So you can, if you are an all-in member, you can have access to those, which I know several of you are. And if not, you can get it separately. I guess I'm hitting that one button, sorry, and it's taking me to my membership page. All right, we're gonna not do that again. Third time's a charm. We're gonna move on. Here we go. Let's do this. Can we go here? Here, anyone? Okay. Does anybody know what?
Angel, you can use your under the shift on your keyboard to move it over, I think.
Okay, it's there we go. Okay, now it went too far. Okay, here we go. No, too far. I think Canva too at night gets a little like, oh, but I want to show you guys, if you are members, this is the new health and wellness collection that will launch this month. And it does have similar content, something similar to the lifestyle collection, but it's going to be specifically health and wellness related. But if you're not familiar with all the collections or Creativity at all, I just want to do a quick little shout out to it. We have right now 4 collections where you get monthly, every single day content. 2, the modern and the lifestyle are they're based on the current month, more lifestyle driven. So it's based on a lot of trends. It's a lot of how-tos, shopping guides, trends alerts, quotes, all the things. One's just more of a modern look and the other one's more playful, as you can see. You also get photos. I don't know if a lot of members know this. You get a dump of photos that you can use throughout. See all these photos right here? That was part of your month, and you can intertwine those with your marketing as well. So be sure to use those if you are, I didn't include, Shackley is not right. This says this is a different collection that we have as a one-off. So sorry about that. That should be a different looking collection. Then we have the Health and Wellness Coach collection, and then we have the Shackley collection. And the cool thing is, if you are an all-in member, you have access to all of these, and don't just discard Shackley collection because you don't sell Shackley. I know a lot of you are doing this, but use that because there's some great content in there that's not even branded for Shackley that you can absolutely use. And that's what I love about the all-in membership. So just a quick plug for that. And these are some of the areas and the specialty kind of things you'll get with the collections themselves. And then all-in members, just like I mentioned, you get all the collections. You also get some other special one-on-one things. We can customize some of the posts for you and your brand if you have a certain brand. So that is that. If we're not connected, would love to connect with you. If you haven't checked out our website, be sure to go on there. We have a lot of, we have a blog and we have a lot of good information on there for you. We have a free Patreon community that you can join if you're not a part of the collective membership. And we do a freebie Friday, even though this Friday I completely forgot to post it. I'm sorry about that. But we do a freebie every Friday. We have free courses like this. And then we have our Facebook group, which is not called Me anymore. It's called Serendipity or something else. Stacy came up with a really good name for it. But on there is where we share a lot of tips and tricks, but we really want you guys to go on there and ask questions, also to post things for feedback. That's one thing we're doing every week. We're going to pick a winner of the week. And a lot of people did this past time, which was awesome. Like, why didn't this get a lot of traction? Any suggestions? And not only do members contribute and tell ideas, but also Stacy and I do as well. So be sure to join all of those. But what questions do you have? Or there are things you're like, what do I promote? I'm still lost. I don't know what to do. Any questions on social media in general, or branding, or Creativity Collective?
Angel, you're using Canva Pro to do the scheduling, or are you using something else?
I am using something called Loomly. It's Loomly. It is more expensive than most of the platforms out there, but it covers all the platforms. So it covers YouTube, Google, Pinterest, everything. So I literally don't have to go and schedule anything out. And the beauty of scheduling things out for me is then I spend that time going into those accounts when I schedule and interacting and engaging and commenting and doing my stories. So I am scheduled out for the month. I go in every week and post for the week ahead. I don't do it a month at a time because it's a lot. But then I go in and whenever I schedule them to be live, I go into those accounts and I try to be a little engaged in that time because that's what they want to see you do. Canva Pro does use a lot. They are connected to a lot of them. So I would use Canva Pro to start because I think it's a great option and you get it part of your membership, but it just doesn't have all the platforms that I wanted to connect to. So I just pay a little bit more for the other service. And if you want to more of a dive into a couple of other services, we did a little training in our membership call this last month, and the PDF is in our collection under under trainings, I believe. Angel. Hi, Angel. I love
Hi,
it. Same
Angel.
name. I love meeting angels.
So in terms of pillars, you were talking about be the go-to person for your niche, right? And so for me, that's being in public child welfare, which is where I spent my first career, and now I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm doing that work, and then like leadership and connecting youth and families of color to education and recreation, employment services and stuff like that. So they're not, I don't know, traditional pillars, like not a lot of that stuff doesn't necessarily easily connect to some of the fun type things They don't lend themselves to very fun posts, so I'm struggling a little bit with what to do. And I think that kind of has affected me in terms of posting regularly because I look for other things. I don't necessarily connect them always to what I'm doing. You have
That
any
is
thoughts about that?
Yes, that's a really good, and I talk to people all the time, and I think Hannah, in some ways, you do a great job of doing this, where you talk about your business and other things that aren't necessarily traditional. And I have an attorney I follow, and I love the stuff she does. She does such a good job, and she does series of posts that are about a topic that you wouldn't, that you might not seek after, but you're like, I would need to know this information. And it's done so well, visually well, that you're intrigued. And I think that's the one thing, is that when you're working on your stuff, if you can make it have a visual, some sort of where it is, maybe the content itself is not as visually, it doesn't need to be bright and sunny, but
Mhm.
whatever evokes those kind of, I always search like colors that might be well suited for this industry, and you can get a lot of different options. And then I try to design stuff that's kind of more looking like that, that's uniform. And then the content itself can be, just well done in where it looks visually engaging. We're like, oh, because when I found this attorney, I was more intrigued by the look of it. And I was like, oh, this looks really good. But then I saw it was like on, trademarks or LLCs or something. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. But I love her stuff. I follow it, I share
Mhm.
it, I comment. So I think if you just have a good kind of aesthetic to it, and you're
Mhm.
providing valuable content that your audience would really appreciate knowing. And I know there's some things that are probably really, really sensitive, and things that aren't, but you start sharing that, that's the cool thing, is when you start sharing that kind of information that's not readily available either,
Mhm.
and you do it in a way that looks appealing and something that people are going to see and go, what is this? They're going to start coming to you. Like, that
Okay.
girl's my go-to attorney. I've actually hired her now. So, and
Mhm.
that's just, I think, the biggest thing to do in that front. And I do think ChatGPT, if you say it, because ChatGPT is just a machine, right? You're just
Yeah.
saying, hey, I really want to talk about this, but I need it to sound approachable, and for my my audience, and this and that. And I'm sure you do that, but
Mhm.
that's also, just a really good thing. And then showing you and your life and other things, just
Mhm.
making sure you are doing that. So people, and I think the biggest thing I see too, and like you said, your struggle with what to post, is people aren't consistent. So
Yeah.
it's not that you need to have everyday content on these subjects, but at least a couple of days or 2 days, and then maybe
Mhm.
a day or two of you mixed in,
Mhm.
would be really good. And that way people are seeing you ongoing. You're like, oh yeah, she's my go-to. I'm going to tag her and flag her and make sure I follow her.
Super. Thank you.
And you also, if you ever, and that's why our Facebook group is so good, if you like have some stuff you're thinking about sharing, post it on there and then tag us and say, hey, or and you can even ask everybody, I'd love your feedback on this. Would this get your attention? Is there some way I could do it differently?
Mhm.
And we'll let you know.
Okay, cool.
That's a
Thank you.
great question. I really appreciate that. Kimberly.
Hmm. I was gonna maybe just kind of piggyback, give Angel some idea. I'm like in my 7 days, I'm doing like 2 days that are gonna be focused more of like actual business, and the rest of the 4 to 5 is gonna be personal, but maybe kind of like I'm gonna do tips on like how to save money, and a couple of the side business things I have are ways to platforms where you're going to save the money. So I'm going to be giving the tips and saying I'm using this app, or I saved this much money this week. So then when I do talk about the business, like in a week, the following week on the business day, I can kind of like circle it back. So I'm not going to, like they say, and Angel said this before, you do 80% personal and 20% business, right? So that's why I'm kind of like the 2 days, and they're kind of spread out in the week. Um, so just a little thought there. And then I wanted to say, Angel, I love that you did this as a Zoom because I actually like got the stuff written down in my calendar. I've got the days where normally I'm not this organized.
Good, good. And I do hate that I didn't have we didn't have the collection ready. We've been I think because we had the new collection, but both Stacy and I are like, oh my gosh, it's there. We just have to put it in the program for you guys. But next time I'll make sure because that is so good to have that where you can print it out and go, oh, okay, this is what they have for us to use. And now I can think about what I need to do. So, but I agree. I'm glad we're on Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then you're
oh,
welcome. And then I love that you're adding the generic health and wellness. So because that kind of fits in. So yeah, so I'm excited to see that stuff. So I think that's enough to share.
yay. I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Hannah.
So this is a little different I'm hoping this month to do a website and newsletter launch, and I didn't know if you had any suggestions on best ways to promote that. I primarily use Instagram, and wanting to expand to other avenues, but right now just using Instagram as that platform, what would you suggest be the best way to promote?
Yeah. So, what the biggest thing you want to do is promote what is going to be in your newsletter, like what are they getting out of it? And then, and also, so you can do that. You can have like, Canva has some great templates to use for sign up for my newsletter, whatever. People will sign up for it, but where I found more success is if you have a freebie and they sign up for that. And then as an option, they get your newsletter or they can get your newsletter. I found that's a lot more, but of course you want to shout from the rooftop that you have a newsletter when it comes out and encourage everyone to sign up and give them the tools to do that. Are you using Flowdesk? They have some great visual stuff to use for that. So and then I'll go directly into Flowdesk. And make sure when you do that and they sign up, they get a workflow of stuff from you. So I don't know if I know you're probably new on that, but if you set that up, that's also a cool thing you can do. I didn't do it for a little while, but the other way is I try to tag it on all my things, like on my website, on, flyers I don't have it on here, but a lot of times I do, like sign up for my newsletter if you don't get it already. Most people in this group do get it, so I don't really talk about that, but just trying to think of everything you can, do it there. And also, depending on what you're doing, it's always good to have collaboration, maybe some guest people featured in your newsletter. And I'm actually doing this week. A friend of mine's doing a retreat. I was like, oh, I'll put you in my newsletter. And of course, when I promote the newsletter, I'm going to tag her in it and she's going to share it with all her 10,000 followers. And so that's also something kind of that people don't think about is it doesn't need to be all about you. It needs to be how you're helping somebody, giving them some good resources. And if you can tag people, if you want to tag me, I'll be happy to share that kind of thing. Is a good way. So, but there are some really good, just easy templates to use in Canva for sign up for my newsletter kind of things. So you'll get some ideas there. But yeah, hopefully that helps you. And good luck. I can't wait to see. Yes. If you need any help with that, let me know. I know it's past our hour and you guys have been great. Any other questions or anything you need tonight? I know you probably
Thank you.
not planned out yet, but I promise you it's a good start. And I would just take the next 1 or 2 days to finish that plan, get all the stuff together, have it ready to go. And then you're like, I'm done. I got my month covered. Now I can spend my time doing the things, building those relationships and the business that I need, because that's really what we're trying to do is help you get your time back so you can spend it on doing nurturing and loving and caring and touching base and connecting with people better. Thank you, Angel. I love that you're here. Anything else? Awesome. You guys have
Yeah.
I am going to pick winners of a few things. I did not announce all this stuff. And I'll put it on our Facebook page. So you got to join the Facebook page, but I'll also reach out to you if you do win the audit and the other things that we'll provide. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Angel.
Bye.